people? We got a new topic today on another American Bulldogger. Excuse me while I light my blunt. Oh, I'm about to fucking stunt on the pride of the Southland farm. Yeah. Oh, he don't know what's going on. Yeah. People, this guy is a known color hater. Doesn't like my people. I'm trying to find the video. Today we're going to talk about the South. Yeah, we're not going to sugarcoat nothing. Understand that. You see this? That family there? All right? Looks like a plantation, right? Looks like some plantation owners. All right? Look like some plantation owners who own plantation hounds. Alpha blue-blooded bulldog. German hounds. American bulldogs. Those were slave master dogs. Today we're going to talk about the South. And of course, let's get it going. We're proud of the South. All right?
A prominent slavery approach involved in the control and domination of African. The generic training of Negro attack dogs went like this. The dogs were locked up and never allowed to see a Negro except while training to catch him. Dogs were given the scent of a black person's shoe or article of clothing and taught to follow the scent. Slaves were sent out as trainees. When the dogs treed the slave, the dogs were given meat as a reward. Afterwards, they learned to follow any particular Negro by scent. Besides the patroller's readiness with the zest of sport, their canine Negro hunters were fierce, vicious, and fearsome beasts. If the dogs were not constrained at the end of the chase, they would tear a man to pieces. Franklin, Runaway Slaves, p. 160. Once discovered, the slave was bound, beaten, and bloodied. Brady, The Black Badge, p. 17. Although the night watchers were replaced following slavery, their essence and practices were continued by the Ku Klux Klan, who existed in slavery but under different names. As evil and sadistic as Europeans were to the slaves and their descendants, the question arises as to what reverberations did the police Negro attack dogs have, not only on the slaves, but also on their descendants, up to this day? Black Americans know that the big picture was larger than just fearful slaves. Following slavery, attack dogs contributed to maintaining apathy, frustration, and chronic anger generated in black people by ongoing racism. Since hostile emotions were escalating in Negroes after World War II, only Reverend M.L. King Jr. could have led the Montgomery bus boycott for an entire year without violent retaliation against the attack dogs, fire hoses, and other barbarism instigated by extremely sadistic white people. No doubt, attack dogs produced psychic trauma in many minds of the slaves and subsequent blacks, either from direct experience or from vicarious empathy. Chances are that this trauma designed, in a few black people, mental transformations from peaceful people into a hateful mindset, a mindset that was culturally transmitted. Could that transmission display today as hateful reenactments, e.g. on dogs used as symbols? Otherwise, an entire scenario regarding attack dogs on blacks has set up a special dog atmosphere. From my boyhood days onward, I have seen many black people terribly afraid of the most gentle of dogs. But with irritable dogs, that fear often causes those dogs to go on the attack. I have treated some of those black people for vicious dog bites and seen how they are adversely affected. Website, www.jablifeskills.com. Joseph A. Bailey, 2, MD. Your support is activism. Join us with action that supports the work we've done and will continue to do by becoming a member today. One time. monthly.
People, now, that's what was going on in the South. You gotta understand that. The dogs they were using were alpha blue-blooded bulldogs. They were using hounds, and they were using American bulldogs. All right, people? These were plantation hounds. All right? If anybody is proud of the land of the South and they breed American bulldogs, we know what they are. They got videos with Confederate flags trying to prove people is hypocritical, portraying that they are not racist, playing with it. All right, people? Now, what I'm at the AKC's website for is because the American Bulldog is no longer a bully anymore, people. The American Bulldog is no longer a bully anymore. So therefore, when you see dogs that are all black like that, and that are being called American Bulldogs, predominantly black, this is not an American Bulldog. It's an American bully now. The American Bulldog has set standards. It's supposed to look like this. See, but the reason why this is not an American Bulldog is because there's no tail. But it's supposed to be this color. All right? Now, I don't know if he's cutting the tail. I don't know if that's supposed to be an old English Bulldog, leopard dog, or what. But right color for an American Bulldog, but it's supposed to have a tail. This dog has the tail, but it's the wrong color. All right? You can no longer do this with the American Bulldog after 2019 November. 2019 November, the AKC has color standards and marking standards. All right? The dog is supposed to be predominantly white. All right? That's the only color description for the American Bulldog. If you got black American Bulldogs, you have an American Bully Bulldog. All right? If you don't have AKC papers with your American Bulldog, you don't have an American Bulldog. Something went wrong in the past. All right? As I told him, he used to have American Bulldogs until 2019 November. Now he has American Bullies because the American Bulldog was an American Bully until November 2019. All right? So these are the descriptions. Description, the color is supposed to be predominantly white, and these are the markings it's supposed to have. It's supposed to have red markings, brown markings, tan markings, brindle markings, and black markings, all on top of predominantly a white dog. All right, people. Do you know why that this dog was made predominantly white? Was because the Caucasian primate closest relative, we're gonna bring up the rhesus monkey. All right, people, this is the closest relative to the Caucasian man. All right, now when you think about the rhesus monkey, what happens to the rhesus monkey? Right, they get in the summertime. All right, they get sunburned. Okay, it gets sunburned and it turns pink. So when the Caucasian male came over here to terrorize, they were the first terrorists on this soil. When the Caucasian male came over here and terrorized the natives, they were in for a surprise. They killed a lot of natives because the natives were land worshippers, and they knew that this was not the Caucasian man's land, and they knew that he stole this and terrorized and murdered and slaughtered and did a whole lot of things not to be proud not to be proud of the South about. All right, they did a whole lot of things not to be proud of. If you're proud of those things, you're a racist. If you put it in your kennel name, you're a racist. You're a racist moron. All right, a bigot. You are the people who keep it going. All right, and I bet you got a lot of racist dog names on your papers, your paper trails. That's what they do. There's a lot of people, a lot of Caucasians who won't sell dogs to black people because they'll show what they name their dogs. All right, people, especially the ones who get black bulldogs. We know what they name them down south. All right, but the Caucasians would burn up like the rhesus monkey. All right, and when they're in the sun. All right, now like I said, the natives, they worshiped the land. They knew it wasn't the Caucasians' land. All right. And I'm just doing this because I'm using these as an example because it's the closest relative to the Caucasian. So these monkeys, they get sunburn and they get melanoma, skin cancer from the UV rays of the sun because they don't have any melanin in their skin like the Caucasian. So what happens if a Caucasian went and picked cotton back in the days? They would burn up like the rhesus monkey. All right, the rhesus masqué, the rhesus monkey, all right, they would burn up. So the natives, they were just killing them off because they wouldn't really slave like that. So what these Caucasians started doing is, since they can't work and pick the cotton, and the cotton gin was not created yet, what they did was they went to Africa, all right, and they purchased slaves from the North Horn of Africa people. There was not many Africans who had slaves, all right? All right, there was not many black Africans who had slaves, all right? There was only a couple, all right, of places where blacks had slaves. A lot of the slave masters was up there in the Egypt, up in the northern Africa, near the Horn of Africa, down to the West Africa. And that's where they purchased these slaves, all right? Because that's where they had the triangle slave. A lot of people don't know about the triangle slave. The triangular slave trade, all right? And that's when they were human trafficking and transporting and shipping and human trafficking and slave trading African Americans, and they brought them to the South. You got to understand that, people. There's nothing, if you're proud of that, you're a racist, and that's the bottom line. And these are the facts to prove it. All right. If you're proud of the Southlands, if your name was just Southland Kennels, I'll let that slide. But pride, that's just taking it too far. Now it's like I'm a pride boy of the Southland Kennels, but he took pride boy off because that's a hate group. You understand? But pride of the Southland Kennels, and he's got slave hounds. You people got to understand that. But if he goes, yeah, I'm not proud of the South because of the slave trade or because of the cotton picking or that. I'm proud because my parents handed this land down to me, because the when I go to the videos, it looks handed down. All right, kind of like Master of All Bulldogs, 4 acres, Old Red English Bulldog Kennel, started in 1950, before this moron was alive. He claims he's been doing this since the 70s, but he was born in 75. This is another liar. This is another racist, Hispanic, Dominican racist against black people. This is another racist from the South. The Dominicans is from the South. Just like this dude who breeds plantation bulldogs. And his dog is scarred up. You guys see the scars on that dog? Look at this. Look at these. These are scars. Looks like he's fighting dogs down south on his land, private. Look at the blood on this dog's face, people. All right? But he's down south and he's Caucasian, and he'll get away with it because they've been getting away with it forever. He could post scarred up dogs like this and get away with it. What do I mean they've been getting away with it forever? Well, since he's pride of the South, let's go back to the GI grant, the GI bills in back in World War II, people. All right? What you guys got to understand is, all right, is that this is how the Caucasian man got pride of the Southland kennels. They cheated. You got to understand that. I'm going to explain it to you. All right. The black soldiers that was in World War II, they were the ones that was put on the front line, people. And in Vietnam, the black people were the ones that was sent. They were the real hitters. The white man, he sat back in 1944 in World War II, and it was easier for him to make it home than the black people. Because the black people was like crash dummies. They would make them go first and use them as bait. Same way they used them as bait to train the American Bulldogs to catch black people. And they would use black people's scent. All right? And that's why some dogs got it in their blood. And there's a lot of them American Bulldogs, they don't like black people. Still to this day, it's in them. That's why I would never buy a dog from a American Bulldog. Any plantation dog, I would never buy it. They're not good with families. They're terrible with families, and that's why they were taught to bite and chase down people. They're shit dogs. Affectionate with family? No. They are not lovey-dovey dogs with family. They were made to catch black people on the Southlands. But anyways, so if he goes, oh no, I'm proud of America because my family, they inherited the land. Let me tell you how they inherited that land. Them GI bills from World War II, all right? Another racist president, because remember, in 44, I'm not going to say his name. He know who he is. In 44, he was allowed to be racist. They were allowed to call black people Negroes. They were allowed to be view people the way they do today, but secretly do it. All right? And he made this bill, and he gave them land. The soldiers who made it home, only the white soldiers, though, people. Because you guys got to remember, segregation didn't come until the 60s. All right? It did not become a law of desegregation to the 60s. So the white soldiers, this is how white people came up on their land, people, in America. The white soldiers who made it home, only the white soldiers got the GI bills. All right? And they got special financial support and loans. Low interest. You know that's no interest for white people. No interest. All right? You guys gotta understand this. If you're proud of cheating to get to where you are today, then don't change your kennel name. If you're ready to be a man and own up and say what your people did is wrong, and you're ashamed of the Southland, that's what your name should be. Ashamed of the South Kennels. Because it's just a bunch of hypocrisy. It's just the white man telling people to stop complaining when they did stuff like this. GI bills. When they tell people to stop complaining, it's like, damn, don't point out when someone's cheating. They call it complaining. I call it pointing out a cheater. Like this right here, when Kennedy, the Irish descent president, all right? Kennedy was a descent of Ireland. He gave Irish immigrants acres of land. So there goes something to teach you guys about the South. And if you're proud of the South, you know what I'm saying? You're a racist, man. If you're just Southland kennels, you're just a kennel located on the South land. But if you're a pride boy of the South, this is not an American Bulldog. That's a pit bull. The American Bulldog got pit bull in it. But now, ever since 2019 November, this goes against the standards. This right here looks like an American Bulldog. It's not a Johnson Scott. It looks like the Allen Scott, I think, because it looks like a pit bull, like that. So this is just watered down Johnson blood. See how skinny the bones are. See how long the snout is. You do people understand where I'm coming from? So if the land was handed down, it was stolen to begin with. Nothing being proud of getting something that was stolen and given to you. Because if we do that today, that's called criminal conversion. If I got a piece of property that is stolen, or if I came and murdered somebody and gave them smallpox with blankets with smallpox on it, that'd be chemical warfare. That'd be terrorism. You see, people can't get away with that type of stuff. You know, they call it complaining. We call it pointing out the privilege, pointing out the evil, pointing out getting away with murder, pointing out getting away with terrorism. So I just had to do this video because, you know, he told me I'm complaining. I don't complain. We talk numbers over here. Men lie, women lie. That's why I don't complain. Numbers don't lie. I talk numbers. See how I gave you 1944 GI bills. See how I told you about President Kennedy giving out land to Irish immigrants because he's Irish descent. See how you guys burn up in the sun because you got God here. You should know what God says about his children. God's children are children of the sun. If you burn in the sun, then you're not one of God's children's. That makes you children of Edom. People of Edom. All right? The Edomites. You do know who the Edomites are, right? Are you familiar with Esau, the twin? You know about Isaac in the Bible? Huh? Since you want to post Bible stuff, biblical stuff? God, Merry Christmas. Do you know that Christmas is a pagan holiday? They're celebrating the death of Nimrod. Since you want to talk Bible and God, Christmas, Jesus wasn't born on Christmas. That was Nimrod's death day, where a pine tree came up out the ground. Nimrod was a idol, a fake prophet. You do understand that, right? Merry Christmas. There is no Christmas. They throw Christ in that, moron. What are you guys putting Christ in that if it's Nimrod's, a person they insinuate is a god? This is the hypocrisy all over this Western global location. They come up with this King James version of the Bible. They altered the King James version of the Bible. They altered it. I mean, King James altered the Old Testament, altered it. You know, the original Bible was written in Hebrew. There is no letter J in Hebrew. How do you get Jesus? Some Western man created that word. How do you get Christmas? Some pagan man created that word for Nimrod. Look it up in the Bible, you Nimrods. Nimrod had a funny relationship with his mom, too, you know. And that's one reason I don't, you know, let that type of stuff slide with people who are proud of the things that went on in the South and how they stole and conquered this and murdered and then divided and segregated and depressed and oppressed a whole group of people, enslaved them and traded them and breeded them. When you're proud of that, fuck you. I am the legend of all Bulldogs. I approve this message.